In this tutorial, we'll be seeing how we can calculate weighted average in Excel using the sum product function. There could be various scenarios when you need to calculate the weighted average. In our first example today, we'll be looking at when the weights add up to 100%. Suppose a student has gone for a professional training, and here is the grade for each of these words courses, and you can see from these words, from this column, a weight has been assigned to each of these courses. So when you are to calculate a weighted average, we believe that different data points has different values, right? So what weighted average does, like I said during the introduction, is that the weighted average we assign different weights to each of these data points based on their significance. So we want to calculate the total grade for this particular student, and if I'm to employ my normal average function, we will not get the true picture of each of these grade. Why? Because the normal average function, there's an assumption that each of our data points are of same value. Now, to assign the grade for this student, I'm going to use the sum product function, and the syntax for it is equals to the sum product, and it takes two or more arrays. The first array is this, and then the second array is going to be this. You press enter. You can see that the total grade for this particular student is 81.45%. What this function does is that it multiplies each of these the grade mark to the assigned weight average. To see the true picture of these of these data points, let me put the let me use the sum product here, this, and the second array is going to be this, and press enter. Can you see now? By the time I flash fill, you can see from here that each of these grade has varied weighted average, and you can see the weighted average assigned for it is 3.8 for this particular. Look at this scenario where this student has 10% in each of these from these two courses. Say speech 65. Look at the weight assigned to it, 10%. Look at the business ethics, 84, and it is given 10%. Now, can you see that the weighted average is telling us that even though that the weight given to it is this 10%, this is the real the weighted average for this particular courses. You can see where it's called 84, he had 8.4. Where it's called 76, it is 3.8. So this is how the weighted we can use some product function in Excel to get weighted average. So let's see if we are going to get same result as this. Okay, we use the sum product, and then I will highlight this whole column and press enter. Can you see that it is the same value? So what happened here is that the weighted average, the sum product has assigned different weights to each of these data points by simply multiplying this by this. So this is our first use case. In our second use case, we want to see when the weights don't add up to 100%. When the weights don't add up to 100%. So if we are to use, when you apply our sum product here, and let's say the first array, the second array, you press enter, and you see that the what the weight doesn't add up to what 100%. The implication of this is that no matter how brilliant a student is, he or she cannot have more than what 100, right? So this is the problem we want to solve. To solve this actual problem, to know the exact what the weighted average for this particular student, all we needed to do is to what we will divide the sum product divided by what divided by this. Now to do this, we say what, let me get rid of this. I will say equals to the sum product, the first array here, followed by the second array, this array, we close the parenthesis, divided by what the sum of these words of this particular weight average here. You close the parenthesis, Ctrl Shift Enter, and you can see that the weighted average for this particular student, the total grade for this particular student using the sum product to get the weighted average is what 79.79. So let me round this one up. Let me round up to what one significant figure. It is 79.8. So to check the true value for this, let's say we say the sum product this and this, I to close the parenthesis, and you see once the flash fill, you can see that this is the actual weight, the weighted average for each of these data points, right? So this is our second scenario. And in the last, if you want to follow along using this same data set that I'm using, you can use the link in the description box below to download the file in order to follow along. And lastly, we want to see how to calculate weighted average when the weights need to be calculated. But here, instead of using the sum product, I'm going to be using another function, which is the normal sum function that you are used to. To do this, we want to determine the weighted average for this particular case, where here we have the product sold, the quantity, and the and the price. So to determine the weighted average, I'm going to use the sum function like I said. Then the quantity, I will now multiply it by because the sum function doesn't take array, so we cannot use array here. So that's why I'm multiplying it by this other column here, which is the number. You close the parenthesis. Instead of hitting the enter key on my keyboard, what I will do is just use the Ctrl Shift Enter. Now we have the sum of these words. It is not, you will notice that it is not actually giving us the weighted average. What we are going to do is, I'm going to track this further. Let me say, if you notice, when I use Ctrl Shift Enter, a curly bracket, looking at this formula bar here, a curly bracket is added at the end of the function. I will go ahead and will say, okay, divided by the sum of the quantity. Close the parenthesis and hit the enter key. As you can have it, we have the weighted average, which happens to be 129.889%. So instead of using the sum product, you can use the sum function, but you have to tweak it. You multiply it, the quantity multiplied by the other column, then you divide it by the sum of the of the column you are interested in. So this is how you can calculate weighted average using the sum product function and the sum function in Microsoft Excel. If you enjoy this tutorial, make sure you like, you comment, and you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.